ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी में भारत का डंका बज रहा है। यहाँ भारत के छात्र वीरांश भानुशाली ने एक डिबेट के दौरान पूरी दुनिया के सामने पाकिस्तानी प्रोपेगेंडा ध्वस्त कर दिया है। पाकिस्तान को करारा जवाब देते हुए भानुशाली ने आतंकवाद पर भारत की सख्त नीतियों को दोहराया। इस डिबेट का वीडियो सोशल मीडिया पर काफी वायरल हो रहा है। मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स के अनुसार ये डिबेट 26 नवंबर 2026 में ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनियन द्वारा आयोजित की गई थी, जिसका वीडियो अब सामने आया है। डिबेट का विषय था, सदन मानता है कि पाकिस्तान के प्रति भारत की नीति एक लोकलुभावन रणनीति है, जिसे सुरक्षा नीति के नाम पर बेचा जा रहा है। डिबेट में वीरांश भानुशाली विषय के विपक्ष में बोलते हुए पाकिस्तानी टीम से मूसा हर्राज को हराकर शानदार प्रदर्शन किया। मूसा पाकिस्तान के पूर्व संघीय मंत्री मोहम्मद रजा हयात हर्राज के बेटे हैं।
Yesterday was 26/11, November 26th, which in my city is not an ordinary date on the calendar. It marks the day when in 2008, 10 terrorists stormed across iconic sites across my hometown, unleashing 3 days of bloodshed. One of those targets was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus, the very station that my aunt passed through almost every evening. By chance or by providence, she took a different train home that night, narrowly escaping the fate of the 166 souls that did not. Another target was the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, where my best friend's father, a major in the National Security Guard, was one of the first commandos to rappel into a burning inferno. I was a schoolboy then, glued to the television as my city burned. I remember the fear in my mother's voice on the phone, the tension in my father's clenched jaw. For 3 nights, Mumbai did not sleep, and neither did I. As a child, I learned too early that security is not an abstract policy issue. It is the difference between life and death, the difference between a phone call from a loved one or a silence that lasts forever. I share this not to darken the mood, but to ground this debate in reality. For me, this isn't just an intellectual exercise, it's painfully personal. The railway station, 200 meters from my childhood home, was bombed in the 1993 serial blasts that killed over 250 people. I grew up under the shadows of these tragedies. My parents, who are here in the chamber tonight, listening anxiously to their son, raised me with the stories of those dark days and the mantra that we must always be alert. So when someone claims that India's tough stance towards Pakistan is merely populism masquerading as security policy, you might understand why I bristle. It sounds like someone telling you that the locks on your doors are just for show, not because there are robberies in the neighborhood. But before we delve deeper into that notion, let me first address the 3 gentlemen arrayed against me. A rather formidable proposition bench if there ever was one. They say this house loves a good show. My opponents have certainly delivered on the casting. First, we have our union president, Mr. Moosa Harraj, leading the charge for the proposition. Moosa is not only the president of this union, he's also Pakistani by birth and a very, very dear friend of mine. In fact, as his chief of staff, I've spent months working with him, which makes tonight a tad bit awkward, because technically, I'm supposed to make him look good. But here I am, last night, writing his speech for him. Moosa, you've had an interesting term, haven't you? Just a few weeks ago, he
Point of information.
Yes.
So you're admitting in a chamber that what I just said was written by an Indian you.
To respond, I shall gladly admit that sometimes it takes an Indian to clean up the incompetence of a Pakistani. Now, Moosa, you've had an interesting term, haven't you? Just a few weeks ago, Moosa survived a historic no-confidence vote right here in the Oxford Union. For the uninitiated, yes, Oxford Union presidents sometimes face more rebellions than actual heads of state. The vote failed, and Moosa sailed through unscathed with a thumping majority, making him, arguably, the only Pakistani origin leader in history to face a no-confidence vote and remain in power the next morning. I tease my friend, of course, but there's a serious point. Moosa's victory was a triumph of transparent, open, and democratic processes. An Oxford Union specialty. Now, only if some folks in Rawalpindi could say the same. And look who sits with you. The glorious ghost of the presidency's past. We have Ahmed Nawaz, the president for Michaelmas term 2022. Emmett, you're a man of resilience. You survived the horrors of the APS attack. You have my utmost respect for that for the rest of my life. But you also survived, barely so, the internal politics of this chamber. You hold the unique distinction of being the only Pakistani president in history who was not removed by a coup, but an auto-resignation. An auto-resignation for missing access committee meetings. Now, the official record says that you were busy. We all saw the Instagram stories of you doing shots with Bad Baby. Now, does an Oxford Union president have to be caught outside? Following on, we have Israr Khan, the president of Hillary term 2025. Israr, this is a special moment for me. In my first term here, you were Emma's chief of staff. You were the man behind the throne